Hey, Armand here with your forecast for the week of July 25th, 2021. So it's a pretty big week we have here. We have a very active week. We're coming up to the full moon. We'll talk about that in a little bit. There are a lot of aspects going on, so let's dive right in. I'm going to take my little note sheet over here and unabashedly look at it from time to time because a lot of stuff happening this week. We start the week with the moon in Scorpio, which is, it's always a little bit of tension and so on, especially as it squares Mars and Venus. But there's also a lot of harmony now with the Scorpio moon making nice aspects to Mercury in Cancer, the Sun in Cancer, and also to Neptune. So there's a little more harmony, even to Pluto, sextile to Pluto. So there's a little more harmony in the Scorpio moon. There's an opposition to Uranus too. That's quite powerful on Sunday. A few little surprises, always a nice thing, right? So we work through that through about Monday. We have a void time Monday evening. Later on Monday, the moon goes into Sagittarius, and so that's the background for the next few days. On the 21st, which is what? That's Wednesday, right? That's Wednesday. The moon moves into Capricorn. The waxing moon in Capricorn has a real sense of being kind of busy and very work oriented thing through the latter part of midweek. So uh, there's the basic pattern, and then we have the full moon coming up, and we start feeling that right away on well, that would be on Friday. Well, the full moon is actually on Friday, and throughout the weekend. So I would say, work through the week, and then as we get to the weekend, get ready for kind of a fun time. It should be a kind of a nice, fun weekend. Now let's get into a little of the nitty gritty. The planet Mercury is very busy this week. Mercury will square Chiron, will sextile Uranus, will trine Neptune, and then will go on to eventually oppose Pluto. A lot of stuff happening then. This is the ability to speak whatever needs to be spoken. Communication should be pretty good. That square to Chiron that starts the week, that's a Monday aspect. That could be a little ouchy, but the feel that you get from that is that it's something that you can use as motivation to express yourself as you go ahead throughout the week. The trying to Neptune should help to clear up matters that have been a little befuddled since mid May, when Mercury was squaring Neptune. Now, I know I said last week that Mercury square to Neptune, 2 weeks ago, Mercury square to Neptune would be kind of the end point for some of those problems, and indeed it probably is the end point for those problems. But now you can kind of move forward and sort of gloss forward on things. It's a little Neptunian of me to say that way, isn't it? A little bit of a gloss on the thing, but that's Mercury trine Neptune. And then Mercury opposite Pluto, which is exact next Sunday, but will be part of the energy throughout Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday. This is very much speaking truth to power, and it is also power speaking truth to you. So that's a little bit more confrontational aspect. Now, Mercury is in Cancer, where the emphasis tends to be on emotional communication that is sharing feelings, sharing emotions. It's these aspects, these basically harmonious aspects, indicate that you can share your feelings a little bit more easily this week. And then as you get towards Friday and into the weekend, maybe it's time to really sort of put it on the line. All right, the other thing that's big this week is that Venus goes through the end of Leo, which is nice and fun for the beginning of the week, and then goes into Virgo on the 21st. That's Wednesday. Now, Venus is not overjoyed in Virgo. It's not really her environment. It's a little too precise and so on. But the first thing that happens, just 12 hours after she gets into the sign, is that she opposes her best friend Jupiter, who's very happy over in Pisces, which is, it's like the two of them, they just love that sign. So it gives a little bit of a bolster. I think that Venus's time in Virgo may not be quite as outgoing, robust, romantic, fun as her time in Leo. socializing gets a little bit more serious. But this push from Jupiter says, hey, so we're having a nice healthy dinner. Doesn't mean that we can't enjoy ourselves. So we're well, you get the idea. So this aspect, it does suggest some nice energy for the middle of the week, and just a day later, on the 22nd, the Sun returns home to Leo, and so everything is good. Everything is good. Uh, having toured the lesser signs for 11 months, the Sun returns home to Leo, and so even though Venus is leaving, the Leonine energy persists and increases. In fact, Mars is still in the sign, and Mercury is going to come in soon. So it's not like Leo season is over. It's really just beginning. Venus is leaving the party a little early. That's all. And let's talk about the full moon. The full moon is at 1 degree of Aquarius. Now, let's look at this from the point of view of if you have planets around 1 degree of Aquarius. If so, you should look back about 18 months to the January 24th new moon, and something that was seated around that time, and something that maybe got a little boost sometime around October 23rd at the first quarter moon back in 2020, right? So we're looking at the January 24th, 2020 and October 23rd, 2020 moons. A story that was big at that time, or began at that time, and had some sort of installment in October, could be moving on to the next level now. And in fact, you would likely see what the culmination of that is. This is particularly relevant if you have planets or points right there, someplace around 1, 2, 3, or 4 degrees of Aquarius. The other thing that this new full moon is doing is lighting up the sign of Aquarius for the first time this summer. Now, we've had a boatload of Aquarian energy. We had Saturn go into the sign last spring. We had the conjunction very close to 1 degree of Aquarius in December of 2020. And we still have Saturn in the sign. Later this month, next week, we have Jupiter making another one of those really tight aspects right at the very beginning or end of a sign. We have Jupiter coming into Aquarius, where he'll spend the rest of the year. So we have some very, very Aquarian times. So much so that we have 2 full moons in Aquarius this summer. We have this one this week, and then next month, the August full moon will be at the end of the sign. It'll be at 29 degrees or 28 or 29 degrees of Aquarius. All right, so we're getting 29. It must be. We're getting a double dose of Aquarian energy this summer. As I said before, it should be great for just, having fun, going out, partying, socializing. It's got a lot of that kind of vibe going on. There's no two ways about it. It is also very likely to ramp up and bring to light all manner of Aquarian issues around things like social justice and so on. Interestingly enough, this corresponds with the opening ceremonies of the Tokyo Olympics. And I think that there's likely to be quite a bit of controversy. I know that there's no astrological prediction there. There's a lot of controversy around the Olympics. There's a lot of controversy around the bidding processes, the way the athletes are treated. It's, what happens to the cities that host and so on. There's a lot of controversy around the Olympics. And with the moon being full and having this Mercury-Pluto opposition, we're very likely to be hearing about it. So that's something to keep an eye out for. The Olympics themselves are actually kind of a little bit of an Aquarian endeavor. I would say that they're a little bit Aquarian because they sort of are transnational in a way. And yet, in practice, the Olympics tend to actually be kind of nationalistic in their effect. So it's an interesting dynamic. I think the question for the Olympics is: are they really going to continue to be relevant? And is the controversy is going to overwhelm them? Anyway, just something to look at. And I would say that, as much as the weekend could be about having fun and so on, you probably should look to see what's happening out in the world and to see how things are going there. Although, don't look too much. And I'll see you next week. Bye.